So, according to YouTube, we are live now. So, hello and welcome to the first episode of Scam or Slam with me, Christian Rauchenwald. A new live stream that will happen in the future on the first Wednesday of every month, unless there's something that prevents us from streaming, during which we are going to review a project that I haven't covered on the channel yet. So that might be a new project, it might be an older project, but the important part, it will be something that we haven't looked at on the YouTube channel yet. And I will walk you through the steps that I'm basically going through in order to determine if, in my opinion, the project is legit, is a scam, is it worth spending your time, or has no potential whatsoever. Now, before we get started, a few things. First of all, obviously, as said, welcome everyone. Second of all, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future live streams or videos. Especially make sure to enable that bell notification icon so YouTube informs you also when I go live. Like, for example, with our almost daily Common Chaos live streams, which today didn't happen because we were on an appointment in the morning out of the office, our apartment, so yeah, couldn't stream. And yeah, then other than that, as always, disclaimer, so everything I share in this video / live stream is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. Now with that, today we're going to take a look at Noddle, an app that gives you crypto for having it running on your phone in the background. And to do that, or did I miss something else? Nope. That's pretty much it from the to-do list. So to do that, we're actually gonna start the process. So the first thing, I always have the perfect spot when I'm switching the scenes. It's like always my weirdest expressions, but the first thing that we're gonna look at is the website. That's where I start, or how I start reviewing any project. Now, I already opened it before. So one thing that you don't see that happened already initially is that for Noddle, basically on the website, I mean, first of all, it looks professional. Second of all, they have a cookie notice set up, which is a requirement in many countries around the world, not in all, but still. So the first thing, what I do when I review a new project, in this case, again, Noddle, is to check the website, not just how it looks, but usually my first way is to the bottom to check, do they have like the legally required stuff on the page? So for example, privacy policy, cookie policy, which cannot, oh no, they're working. Okay, they're just opening, not a new tab. So we have a privacy policy. That's already a good part. And with the privacy policy, we are going, or the next thing that I would look at is like, do we know who's behind the project? So do we have an option to figure out contact, for example, blah, blah, blah. So they have a data protection officer defined in San Francisco, which is always good. They have a contact form set up. They have a form that allows you to submit requests, which according to GDPR in Europe is the form is not a requirement, but people should be able to request information about what data is stored, request the deletion of the information, and so on. So just from that point of view, looking at Noddle, for example, we already have positive signs. So before we even dive into what the project is about, what you can do with it, if it's worth using, and so on, we already know, okay, they have a professional looking website. The website fulfills, at least on first glance, the legal requirements in terms of pointing out a data protection officer, which gives us also a contact point in terms of who we could sue if there would be an issue with the project. So if that would turn out to be a scam, or you would actually suffer some harm from the project and so on. Now, I'm usually also looking for a company information. So in this case, we know it's Nodle Technology Inc. in the USA. And then what I do is I just go to Google, US company register lookup, for example, or search. Company search from the SEC. And enter the company name, find companies. So no matching companies, so no publicly traded companies, since the SEC regulates the stock market. Now, corporate registry. So there are for sure some paid services, so you might have to try which service you want to use. Now, in this case, we're looking for California. Okay, that one's not working. Could be a restriction that they don't allow access from outside of the US. Let's take that. So the idea behind it is to look up, does the company actually exist? Yeah, accept, save my selection, company, there we go. There we have Noddle. Now we can compare the address of that's shown then hopefully here. Okay, we don't see the full address here. We see San Francisco 94124 and 94115. So might not be the same. So should be, but might not be. And so we're gonna continue and see. To be fair, for Noddle, we should be able to find something, so it's not that it's impossible. I'm just going to open a few of those. So again, summary, first step, when you look into a new project to determine if it's legit or not, basically figure out if you can find privacy policy, cookie policy, or something like that. And we're going to remove the ink here. And figure out if you can find a company name somewhere now. No matching companies found. Now, cars, yeah, so cars, search. And there, if we just search for that, and organizations probably instead of. Okay, also didn't find anything. Then we ask Noddle open corporates. There we find an entry. Okay, that is now here. Okay, there it says status terminated and dissolution date 13 February. So that's actually like an alarming sign, although that would check. It's not a clear, it's a scam, don't waste your time, but we can see that address checks. So if we drag that over up here and then that here, we can see that here it says 23.3. So that's exactly the company entry that had a dissolution filed in 2018, which is alarming in some aspect because it means that at least the privacy policy is outdated, like didn't expect that. Honestly, I didn't really look into the company before we started the stream or so to actually give you the real experience of what I'm going through. Now let's check, since they have LinkedIn linked, if there are some, we need to sign in, okay, or so there are 55 employees working for Noddle. Okay, now I have to sign in. And why does it not? Up. So there we go. Password. Wait, what? Make most. I already have an account. What do you want? Accept. Back. It was a sign up page. Okay, so sign in. That's what we want. Yeah, sorry for that. So LinkedIn. There we go. And in case you're wondering, the extension that I'm using as password manager is called 1Password, and it's available on many devices. So there are 55 people that list Noddle as their employer. So blockchain services, co-founder and CEO at Noddle. So that's going to be interesting. And we're going to basically close the other tabs that we don't need right now and drag that one back so we can see it better. Metaverse, welcome. So asking, do they pay anything? Yes, you get a cryptocurrency. We cover that in a second. So the first impression that we have is the issue with they have a privacy policy, which is great. They have a professional looking website, which is great. But the company listed in the privacy policy actually filed for dissolution in 2018. And that's not a good sign. Now, if we look at this, we can see he's the CEO at Noddle, and here it's only listed as Noddle. Now we could go here and just search for Noddle as well, hopefully in a new tab, yes. And then we see that there's a Noddle Limited in Hong Kong, Noddle LLC in the US, but also already dissolved in 2014, Private Limited in India, also already apparently dissolved or not, still active, it says inactive. And then we have JP Noddle, which is probably something else because it's in Arizona. So a little bit of a big oopsie, or I really didn't expect that. Now let's check the cookie policy here. Who are partners? Yeah, what they're using, blah, blah, blah. Okay, nothing more there. And then the license agreement, which is a first. So Noddle International. Okay, we're just going to look for Noddle here. So does it mention? No, doesn't not mention. Okay, so regulated by the Cayman Islands. So I'm not sure if there's a company registry that we can look for. Cayman Islands company registry. So maybe they dissolved one company and yeah, skip the sponsored links. So there we go. The whole idea behind that process is if you don't know who's behind the project, or if it's a business and that business actually doesn't exist anymore, well, then you have a good idea that potentially, can we look here for forms, fees, blah, blah, blah. No, we cannot. That potentially it's not worth it. So search for businesses. Okay, let's go that. Chamber of Commerce on the Cayman Islands. So keywords, Noddle, organization name, search. So maybe, no, we also don't find. That's really search per keyword, Noddle. Yeah, that's really a bummer. Like, I really did not expect that. Now, especially we can go further and we can open their apps on the Play and App Store, which is a second important step. And that is, if a platform has an app for Android, but it's only available as a download, as an application package, then it's, yeah, I'm gonna switch here for a second. Wrong button, so switch here, that button. So if an app has, or if a project has an app and it's only available on Android, then you have to distinguish between if it's available as a application package you can download, or if it's listed on the Play Store. An application package can contain a ton of malicious code, whereas if it's listed on the Play Store, it can still contain malicious code because Google is not as strict as Apple, but it's already a positive sign. Now, having an app on the Apple App Store, however, is usually a very, very positive sign, because their process, or the steps you have to go through to get your app approved there, are really, really high. Now, for Noddle, if we circle back, they have obviously both apps. So they have the app on the Play Store and on the App Store. So good sign there. And there should also be some information somewhere about, where was it? Noddle is free. Maybe their developer contact. Do we get some? Okay, just Noddle.io, and we are right now on Noddle.com. Okay, then if we go to Noddle.io, do we get some updated information there? Nope, it redirects to Noddle.com. So that's that. Then there's Noddle.co, but probably also goes the same way. But other than that, we don't see a company name. Now, if we check here, on Apple, we see it's published by Noddle, and then it just shows us, okay, those are the lists of apps that they have, but we don't get any, do we get any additional information? Yep, there, we get Noddle Technologies Inc., which is, again, circling back to the privacy policy, so just to make sure, and contact, which is basically the company that doesn't exist anymore, yeah? Now, they had their dissolution filed in, what did we say, in 2018, and do we see when the app was first published? Not sure. App support, privacy policy, version history, maybe. Okay, there it lists only till that version in 2022. More just shows the history, so that doesn't help us. So yeah, really at an impasse here to confirm that the company is actually legit, which is really weird. Conflicting information, yeah, like did not expect that. Okay, let's dive quickly into what Noddle does, and then we're gonna try to dig a little bit deeper. But so far we have one huge red flag, and that is that the company information that is listed is actually a company that was dissolved in 2018 from what we could determine. And yeah, now to dive more into Noddle, I'm actually gonna share my phone screen, which is iPhone there, that button. So that's the Noddle app, and the way it works is basically it uses Bluetooth Low Energy to find other devices that are nearby, but not necessarily phones, but smart devices that would communicate via Bluetooth. And the idea is that you basically can have Noddle on your phone, and a million other people can have Noddle on your phone. And then if I'm a hardware manufacturer that, I don't know, produces some kind of smart device, let's say this is a smart device and not a USB dongle, that, I don't know, maybe it's a tracker like an Apple AirTag or so, and it would then automatically ping the Noddle app. And as long as enough people have Noddle, it would basically relatively often have a signal. Yeah. So the idea behind it is basically to provide a network that's based on Bluetooth low energy, which also, and as a reward, you see that I don't have rewards daily, this week also not, monthly you can see I have some, and yearly you can see I also have some. And it basically looks like this. So it says, okay, pending rewards for free devices, and it's currently discovering Bluetooth devices. And then you have your wallet here where you see how much Noddle you have, and Noddle actually has a value. So circling back to what's this screen, yeah. So if we go to Coin Market Cap, and there search for Noddle, then we can see that it has a value of roughly 3.8 cents. So the 500 Noddle that I have right now, or 592 actually, times 0.003861 are worth an astonishing $2. Yeah. Now it already had a higher value in the past, but then dropped and so on. Yeah. So, and there has been an increase in Noddle rewards also, as mentioned here. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like you don't get a lot for it. So it's not that it's making you rich unless the project would take off at some point. It runs in the background of your phone. It uses Bluetooth low energy, so it doesn't cause a lot of energy usage on your phone. But at the end of the day, you also don't get a lot of rewards. You get some rewards, and as said, it's a real cryptocurrency that you can trade on MEXC, Gate.io, Huobi, and Kraken. So it's also listed somewhere, which makes it even weirder that we cannot find the company register entry, neither on the Cayman Islands nor in the US. But yeah, so the whole, circling back, so many buttons. So the issue with the whole idea is, so maybe you watched some of my videos about Helium Network, yeah? And Helium Network is like, there's a hotspot back there that you can not see because it's blurred, or the hotspot is actually here behind the TV, and the antenna is here, which creates a long-range, low bandwidth coverage of a LoRaWAN, so like network, which is meant for IoT devices like those that we are going to unbox next week, to basically provide coverage. Yeah. And with Helium Network, the thing is great because that hotspot, I mean, it's bad placement, but if you would have the antenna mounted to the roof of your house and you don't have mountains left and right of your house, you would potentially have like 50 kilometers or more network coverage with that hotspot. Yeah. Which means like that's really insane, because it means like even if it's in the middle of nowhere, if there's like one hotspot, I don't know, on a mountaintop entire valley, which is great. Yeah. With Noddle, however, it relies on Bluetooth, which means there has to be somebody nearby that has either the Noddle app running on their phone or an app that has the Noddle SDK, so the software developers kit, integrated for whatever IoT device tries to communicate to actually be able to communicate. And that's a big issue, because with a Helium hotspot, if I live on the 30th floor of a building, my hotspot still covers everything like in miles left and right, yeah. Whereas if I use Noddle on my phone, well, it barely covers my apartment because the Bluetooth range is so limited, yeah. Which is personally, so we already saw Noddle is like is a cryptocurrency. You can trade it, you earn it on the phone, which is great. But it's why I personally don't believe that Noddle will ever have a huge value. Why? Because I don't see a scenario where IoT device manufacturers would say, oh, we're going to use this technology for communicating because it's such bad coverage. There is so many areas where no Bluetooth low energy device, so phone, tablet, or anything else that can run Noddle or the Noddle SDK is nearby, and then suddenly you don't have coverage anymore. Yeah. And then on top of that, if you would be somewhere where you don't have cell reception, well, then Noddle could communicate with whatever device there is, but the data couldn't be forwarded. Sorry, I have to drink a little bit. Already had a few live streams today, so my voice is already a little bit suffering, but yeah. And so that's that's why I personally believe like that Noddle doesn't have a bright future ahead. Yeah. So yeah, I think now it's clear how Noddle works or not. So you basically, again, we circle to the app on the phone. So you basically, all you have to do is install the app on your phone, where there's a link in the pinned message in the chat and also in the description below, and then just make sure that it runs in the background and will then detect other Bluetooth devices nearby, and then based on that, it will give you rewards in Noddle. Now, there used to be very low rewards, and as you can see, they increased. So in February, I paid a little bit more attention to the app and got 266 Noddle, which translates to roughly $1 in rewards, which would still mean it's roughly $12 in a year, whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But overall, you also constantly, as you see, I constantly forget to make sure that the app is running, and then I get 0 rewards, yeah? But besides that, so while you could get a couple dollars out of Noddle, and if you want to do it, go ahead, yeah, you actually are then, I don't know, like you get a cryptocurrency of a project that, at least in my opinion, doesn't have a bright future ahead, because the whole principle it's based on to say, okay, we're going to provide connection points for IoT devices or whatever, based on Bluetooth Low Energy, just doesn't work out, because Bluetooth doesn't have such a bright coverage. That's why, after all, we have Wi-Fi and we have now LoRaWAN, because those things just have better coverage. Yeah. And yeah, so other than that, I'm circling back real quick. So we might actually be done sooner than I expected with today's stream. So I mean, we're at the 20-minute mark now. So back at the desktop. So other than that, yeah, I mean, they have, as said, that should be the Block Explorer or not. Yeah, Subscan. So Noddle is a real cryptocurrency. It can be traded. You can see that there is some, yeah, like trading volume going on, and that there are real transactions happening. The apps on the App Store and for Android available. So like there are a lot of things that are pro Noddle. One thing that would be pro Noddle would be the monetize your app part, which is not for you, but for developers. So for example, the creators of Alpha Network could build Noddle into their app, and it would be in the background and users wouldn't even notice it. And then Alpha Network would get extra money in terms of Noddle for that Bluetooth Low Energy coverage. And yeah, like the user wouldn't notice it necessarily. I'm not sure if it has to be disclosed, blah, blah, blah. And so as an app, you could monetize your app without running ads. But the problem is, unless Noddle actually establishes itself on the market properly, which again is unlikely considering what they're trying to do, in my opinion, yeah, there will not be a lot of money to be made from those integrations, yeah. And yeah, as we see it here, so the Noddle SDK leverages smartphones with Bluetooth Low Energy enabled to locate and connect nearby smart devices. So, and the biggest problem again is the Bluetooth range. It's just not big enough, yeah. So BLE range, blah, 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 in meters. So the maximum range for low energy would be less than, oh, that's radio interference, Bluetooth Low Energy. What's the range? Okay, so actually more than I expected. So blah, blah, blah. Line of sight, 60 meters. With obstacles, 20 to 30 meters. Self-tested. Could receive a signal from a beacon placed, blah, blah, blah. Up to 60 meters. Blah, blah, blah. So the range is simply not there to really create a great coverage, because again, if you would have some smart device in your cabin in the woods that you somehow want to, that would use Noddle in some way to communicate or whatever, yeah, there wouldn't be much happening, because no Bluetooth device from the cabin 5 kilometers down the road would actually be able to reach that far, whereas a helium hotspot would, yeah. And so the question is, should you use Noddle? Well, to be fair, it really is up to you to decide that. Personally, I mean, I have the app running on the phone, and eventually someday, if it sums up to something, I will sell it. I don't see a future for the project. And yeah, like if I wouldn't have it already running on the phone, I probably wouldn't bother with it, to be honest. Yeah, because simply, while it shows here nicely, yeah, $1.50 in Noddle and $1 in Noddle, we can see that since I've been running it, again, if we look on my iPhone, even if we look back for 1 year now, yeah, like, or even here, so it's 266, which again is $1 in a month from Noddle, in a month where I actually paid more attention to running the app. So at best, even if you make sure that you check every day or twice per day that the app is running in the background, you would look at an extra $12, where you would, in my opinion, be better off if you instead run Coin app, honestly. Like, I mean, Coin app has to run in the foreground to really earn money, but with Coin app, at least, there is, in my opinion, a better future or potential there for the app. And yeah, like you actually, yeah, if we compare it, so like I have Noddle running actually not just on this device, but also on 2 other devices in the background. But again, I'm not always checking and making sure that Noddle runs, yeah. And so basically it's running on 3 devices on and off. And we have the best month with around $1 earnings, yeah. Now on 2 of those devices, I'm also running Coin app in the foreground. So the phones are just on the desk and there's Coin app running and nothing else, with the Sentinel X BLE for a 12 times boost. And I basically withdraw around $10 worth of XYO from Coin app every month. Yeah, so it's not every month $10, but it's like, so in 1 month $3 or $4, in the next month more, and so on. But on average, I would say close to $10. Yeah, it might be $5 per month in the end, but it still is more than I would make what I make from Noddle. And there, I really just have to put my phone there, start the Coin app, and have the phone in the charger, and that's it. Yeah. So Irina mentions, yeah, always remember Alpha Network. Yes, there is a chance that the price, I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't say explodes, but I mean, Noddle already trades. You can already trade it. So there's definitely that part that you, yes, you get crypto and you can sell it. But if you live in a country where you have to file taxes on your crypto, then it's more effort to file those extra transactions than what you get paid in Noddle. And other than that, again, like I feel like there are just better apps out there. Even pressing the button in Alpha Network, although Noddle is, in my opinion, more legit than Alpha Network. Yeah, even there, you probably, I don't know, maybe get the same monetary payout, but you don't have to have the app running, but just press the button once per day in the app. Yeah, and yeah, like, and as I said, I'm really baffled that we were not able, or are not able, switching there again, to actually confirm the company behind Noddle, which is a huge thing. Like, considering how professional the whole website looks, let's actually check out the roadmap, so to get an idea of what they have planned, maybe how far behind they are or so. Or ahead, maybe. Okay, that takes a moment. What else do we have that we can check to decide or look? Page not found, also not good. Yeah, so I'm honestly a little bit baffled by that. On one hand, Noddle has so many things that are in quotes professional and done right. 10-year roadmap, yeah. So launch to 17 to 22, but into 18 the company was dissolved, yeah. Although the apps are still listed, the website is still there, and there are apparently 52 people that claim to work for Noddle, so, or 55 people. Yeah, so yeah. And now network growth till 25, usage growth. I don't see a usage growth again because the limited range of Bluetooth Low Energy. Yeah. Public blockchain. Yeah, they have the blockchain. They have the Nodle SDK. They have the Nodle Cash app. So all of that is done. They have the Nodle chain. Yeah, so that's already done as well. Phase 2, grow the network, increase the security, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like also not a lot of information here, to be honest. What else did we have? So we had the tokens white paper. Yeah, I mean, didn't we just, no, different. Decentralized network payment infrastructure for the Internet of Things and beyond. Yeah, but again, like connectivity issue is going to be the biggest problem. And they, no matter what they do, Cayman Island. Yeah, so there it's also Cayman Island, but again, no Nodle tokens. And Noddle Cayman Island exempted. Cayman Islands. Yeah, minus search instead for Noddle. Yeah. Looking for angel investors. There it says San Francisco. Do we see when that was posted? Not really. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll sum it up here. So, first, so it looks like there might still be a legal entity behind Noddle that's registered in the Cayman Islands that we just cannot find. Yeah. Second, Noddle has a professional-looking website that on first glance fulfills all the legal requirements. However, their privacy policy is clearly invalid because the company that's mentioned as the data protection officer doesn't exist anymore and was dissolved in 2018. A positive sign is that they're still listed on the Apple App Store as well, and obviously that they have a real blockchain, that Noddle is listed on a few, not major exchanges, but still exchanges, and that the apps are working and you can actually really send those Noddle to the exchange and sell it. However, the biggest issue with Noddle is simply that, in my opinion at least, their whole outlook as to what they are trying to do is not really feasible due to picking a medium, in this case Bluetooth Low Energy, that has a limited range, which means they will never achieve proper network coverage. Yeah. So if I'm having Noddle here, but nobody else in the village is having a running Noddle, then there's basically at best 100-meter radius around me that has coverage, and the rest of our small village doesn't. Whereas on the other hand, if I have a helium hotspot here, it literally covers a couple kilometers. So even if nobody else in the village is running one, I alone am able to provide coverage for more than the entire village already. So we don't need, so that basically points out like Noddle versus helium in that case, so that simply the use or the idea of using Bluetooth Low Energy just seems ridiculous. Yeah, might be since they're also looking or looked for angel investors, so people that invest in the business to basically hopefully later make money back. Yeah, that maybe they already knew that what they're trying to do is not really feasible, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And basically they just still wanted to build it because if other investors put money in, well, they pay themselves a nice salary and they just keep working and improving because they anyway have their 10-year roadmap. And for them, it's fine. But anyone who's actually using Noddle will not really make any money out of it because, again, as we saw, even in my best month with 3 devices that run Noddle, admittedly not permanently because I sometimes forget to make sure that it's still running in the background, but still the payoff would be $1 worth of Noddle for an entire month. Yeah, whereas if you run another app like Coin app, which I reviewed in the past on this channel, and you can find if you just search for Christian Rauchenwald Coin app, my videos about it, you actually walk away with more if you just put your phone with the app running in the foreground somewhere on your desk or so. Yeah. And especially if you enable audio ads and instead of your desk, you put it in a drawer so that you cannot hear the audio ads, then you earn even more because those apparently give you even more coin, which then translates into XYO tokens. Yeah. So as a summary for here, I hope you were able to take something away in terms of what I'm looking at when I try to determine if a project is legit. We have a lot of warning signs or red flags when we look at the Noddle website, so at the official information that they're presenting that cannot be justified by, well, maybe they just didn't have time to update it, considering that the dissolution of Noddle Technology Inc. happened in 2018, which is 4 to 5 years ago, depending on when in that year it happened. And yeah, so personally, again, if you want to, you can sign up. There is a link, pinned chat message or description, or both. But personally, I wouldn't use it, and I would rather tell you, okay, check out some of the other videos on my channel. And there is definitely a lot of apps that make more sense. Honeygain and all the bandwidth sharing apps that also run in the background of your phone, but actually pay you faster and more. Sure, they also don't make you rich, but at the end of the day, you walk away with more money without even the hassle of having to have a new wallet, a Noddle wallet, and then sign up at a different exchange and so on. Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Irina shared the link for the Coin app review, by the way, in the chat, so you can check that out as well if you're curious about an app that actually, in my opinion, makes more sense. As said, I might keep Noddle running here and there in the background myself to maybe at some point cash it out. And again, you can make the same choice, although I would not expect anything to come from it in the future. So it's more likely that in a year or two from now that whatever Noddle I have in my app will still be worth next to nothing. At least that's my opinion. Yeah. And that's it. Don't forget, we will make a new post on the community tab. So make sure to subscribe so you get a notification about the post, where you can then submit your suggestions, which project you want to review in the next Scam or Slam episode, which will be on the first Wednesday in May. And yeah, that's it. See you then in another video or live.